second thing we want to talk about is how to build a successful, powerful business. In my opinion, the greatest business model here in America today. And that through this business model, we've helped many people become multimillionaires, and we really revolutionizing the way financial information is getting distributed to masses. Because for the longest time, this information has been only available to people who have a lot of money. So with that being said, my portion is I want to go over the education portion of what we do. I want to go over a little bit of the education, and then I'm going to bring Jamie up, and Jamie's going to talk a little bit about how we're really changing this country through this process. So I like sketch drawing. So let me see if I can get a little drawing going here first. So let me just do this. Or you know what? I'll just explain as you can see me. So basically, what we do, we have an educational platform. And through this educational platform, we connect people to the financial companies. We're like Amazon of financial services. Okay, so you know how you can go to Amazon and you can buy really anything you want. You can buy shoes, TVs, purses, whatever you want, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. We basically have really no product ourselves. We're like a distribution company for all the financial companies in America. So we educate people on money. We teach them different things about retirement, college planning, all this stuff. And then we connect people to the financial companies, and financial companies pay us. Therefore, all the services that we do for people is a free service. So I wanted to make sure that being said. So all the education, all the stuff that we do is free, which is pretty cool. So let's go over. Let me see if I can share my screen. Nationwide is on your side, Prudential, and those kind of things. So here goes. Here it goes to the education. So the first principle we want to cover as far as the education is the time value of money. In here in this presentation, if you look at it, get a pen. If you look at, there are two people. You got brother A right here and brother B. What happens though, brother A starts saving $5,000 a year, $5,000 a year he starts saving, and he does this for 40 years. If he does it for 40 years, how much money has he put aside? 200 grand. But guess how much he has on the back end? He has about $2.2 million saved up. As long as he's getting, by the way, he's getting 10% per year. Where is he getting 10%? We'll talk about it in the next step. But if he saves $5,000 a year for the next 40 years, that's 200 grand he's put in. He has 2.2. So most people take a look at that and they're like, yeah, you know what? That's pretty good. So then his brother says, you know what? That looks pretty good, but I can't do it right now because I have some debt I need to pay off, or I saw this TV I wanted to buy, or I wanted to buy this car first, or I wanted to buy this house first, or whatever it is, they procrastinate. So they wait 2 years. The difference, only 2 years. So they do it for 38 years. The difference as far as how much money they put in is 10 grand. So they put in 190,000, but on the back end, as you guys can see here, they have 1.8 million. So that's $400,000 less. So if you take $400,000 divided by 2 years, that means every year this person procrastinated cost him 200 grand. Every year, 200 grand, right? So every month is 16,000. Every week, 4 grand. If you look at it every hour, 8-hour workday is about $96 an hour. So imagine every hour a day you work in today, $100 bill fell off your pocket. How does that make you feel? Not good, right? So that's basically the same exact thing when people procrastinate. You know, when we're talking to people about saving money and investing, a lot of people are like, you know what, this sounds really good, but I'm just really busy right now. Can we meet in like 3 months? It's kind of like a person, they imagine that they're at work, they're walking, and every hour they're walking, $100 bill fell off their pocket. And we're like, hey, let's just swap your pocket. And they're like, you know what, I'm too busy. I can't think about it right now. What would you call that person? A crazy person, right? But that's the same exact thing when people procrastinate. So guess when is the right time you guys start investing? And I'm sure you're saying it right now to me. The answer is now, the right time. So when we talk to people who are younger, they usually say, Cash, when later, when I'm a little bit older, I'll do it then. When people are a little bit older, they say, Cash, this is good information, but it's too late for me. It's good for my kids. I was talking to a lady the other day, and she's 60 years old, and she's like, Cash, this is very good information. However, it's too late for me. And I said, why is it too late for you? She said, well, because I'm 60 years old, and you understand 10 years from now, I'll be 70. I said, Cash, you understand 20 years from now, I'll be 80. So it's too late for me. I said, okay, let me ask you a question. I said, how old will you be 10 years from now if you don't save? You still be 70 but broke. So would you rather be 70 and broke or 70 with some money? And she's like, okay, I kind of get it now. So I'm spending a little bit of time on this, you guys, because I don't know if you know, in America, if you were to guess what percentage of people's income they actually save. In America, people save about -1% of their income. That's how bad it is in this country. Chinese save 40% of their income. And then we all get mad at all the Chinese that come here in the US and buy these properties cash because they had money saved up. So, when we talk to an American crowd, especially, we like to spend time a little bit here and talk about the importance of saving just for a little bit. When I came here, I'm originally from Iran. I came to US in 1999. I didn't speak a word of English. Very shy kid. Very little self-confidence. I could never talk to a group of people. And I came here and everybody said, if you want to become successful, you got to go to school. So I started working in car washes and gas stations, and I went to school and became an engineer. I went to USC, became a civil engineer, but very shortly I ended up not having a job, and I wanted to be my own boss, control my own destiny, make a lot more money in land of opportunity. So I met two people, and one of them introduced me to this education. They invited me to this to this class to learn about money, and this is 11 years ago. And I came in just because I wanted to learn about this stuff. And I remember the day when I saw this. I was an engineer. I was making $65,000 a year, and all my friends are Persians. So Persians, if you know any Persians, they drive nice cars. You could be working in a gas station, you still drive a BMW. That's how Persians roll. So when I came here, I was making 65. I just bought this car. It was an Audi A6 fully loaded car, $55,000 car. And I thought I was cool until I met my mentor. And my mentor said, Cash, how much are you paying on this? And I told him how much I was paying. And he took my car payment and took a little calculator. It says, Cash, if you would have invested this money in 30 years, that's about $1.5 million. And I was like, what? So I was shocked. And so I made a decision, and I basically got rid of my car, and I bought a Toyota, 1997 Toyota Corolla, and I started driving that money, and then driving that car, and I started putting $1,000 a month aside. And then it became 2,000, then it became 3, and as I came here, learned the business and grew our business, then it went to 10, 20, 30, $40,000 a month just in investments now because of learning this principle. So that's the first principle. Second principle right here is, let's move on, is this thing called Rule of 72. I don't know how many of you guys heard of this. Rule of 72 says, if you take number 72, like this, number 72, I'm writing it down here. And if you divide it by the interest rate that you get on your money, that will give you the number of years that it takes for your money to double. Okay? Number of years that it takes for your money to double. So, for example, if we have somebody who is 29 years old and they have $10,000 and they only get 1% return on their money, well, what is 72 divided by 1? And yes, that is not a trick question. 72 divided by 1 is 72. So that means it takes them 72 years to double their money. So by the time they're 101 years old, fired up, their $10,000 become $20,000. But what is the $20,000 worth that many years from now? So, however, if we get 4% on our money, 72 divided by 4 is 8. Now our money doubles every 8 years. So same 20-year-old with $10,000, 8 years later, they got 20. Okay. And then boom, it goes to 40. So it just ends up doubling up. By the way, that's not 8 years, that's 18 years. Did I say 8 years? Somebody did the math wrong on this. So it's 18 years. So every 18 years, the money doubles from 29. As I'm doing this, I'm like, am I doing my math right? So 29 to 47, 10 becomes 20. From 47 to 65, 20 becomes 40. However, if we get 2 more percent, if we get 6%, now this money doubles every 12 years. So from 29 to 41, 10 becomes 20, and then 20 becomes 40, and then 40 becomes 80. So in order for us to double our money, we don't need to get double the interest rate. We just need to get 2 more percent. So 2 more percent is going to help us double our money. Now, what if I get 10% on my money? If I get 10%, my money doubles every 7.2 years. So in that same exact period of time, 10 goes to 20, 40, 80, 160, 320, and then eventually at 72 becomes $640,000. That's a one-time $10,000 investment. So guess what the banks do, you guys? The banks come in, take our money. How much return do they give us? Really nothing. Then they take that and they go, guess what they do with it? They invest it, they lend it to people, and they make that 10% themselves. So what we do, we actually teach people how to get that 10% on their own. So most people, when they're investing, they go get a job and they got their 401ks and put their money in there, and market goes up, they go up, market goes down, they go down, and that's what they do. What we do, we teach people a strategy called an indexing strategy. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but we teach people how to invest money in this thing called an S&P 500. S&P 500, the 500 biggest companies in the world, and you can invest into them, and you have a cap of 15. You can get up to 15%, and if the market loses, you never lose anything. So we actually show how to do this and how to get that return, which takes me to my next part. So first thing that we told you is to start early. Second thing is to make sure that you get a good return. The third thing is to make sure never lose it. Warren Buffett said, rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, don't ever forget rule number 1. So this is what this graph talks about here. Right here, it talks about fixed strategies. So like a CD, and then you got your 401k that kind of does one of these. And then you got your indexing strategy, which is the strategy that I just explained to you, where you have a cap and a floor. And when the market goes up, you get up to a percentage, but when it loses, you don't lose. So obviously, you can see from this graph which does better. So that's called an indexing strategy. And lastly, probably the most important one out of all of them is taxes. Okay, there are 3 different ways we pay taxes on our money. Number 1 is called tax now category. Ooh, not this one, right here. Taxable accounts, tax deferred accounts, and tax exempt accounts. So obviously, which one sounds better? So here, get my pen again. So taxable, tax deferred, tax advantage. Obviously, from the sound of it, this one's a lot better. So taxable is where we invest our money, and let's say I have $10,000 I've invested, and I come in and I get 10%. So if I get 10% on 10,000, how much money did I make? I made $1,000. Guess what happens next? One of my favorite uncles, Uncle Sam, calls in and says, Cash, you made money, pay your taxes. So now I got to pay, let's just say 15 to 20% tax on this. But now I just paid $150 to Uncle Sam, and I left with $850. So it's kind of going 2 steps forward and then 1 step backward. So what happens though, that rule of 72 cannot happen because the money doesn't get a chance to compound. So we end up with a lot less money. Now in tax deferred, this is where almost 80 to 90% of the US goes and save their money. It's like a 401k. Let's say you put in $5,000 in and you get a deduction. You don't pay taxes on that $5,000, but on the back end, let's say that $5,000 become $50,000. So would you rather pay tax on $5,000 or $50,000? I think you know the answer to that. So in these type of accounts, we have to pay taxes on the back end, which we don't know where it's going to be, but gets me to my next point. Do you guys think taxes are going to go up or taxes are going to go down? You know, when I ask that question, most people say up, but they really don't know why. And I really encourage you guys to spend a little bit of time and study this, because this will it will make a big impact on your life and your children's life. There's a guy named David Walker. He's the Comptroller General of the United States. He's like CFO of the country, and he resigned from his job and talking about this topic. And he made a movie called IOUSA. Warren Buffett is in there. You can watch it on YouTube. And he talks about why the taxes either have to go up or we have to cut our social programs. You know, when Social Security got started, or Medicare, when these programs got started, for every one person that was retiring, there was 50 people that was putting money into the program. Because Social Security, you would get your Social Security at 62, but the average life expectancy was 59. But now people are living longer and longer and longer. So today, for every one person that's taking money out of these programs, only 3 people that are contributing to these programs. Long story short, they either got to raise the taxes or lower these benefits, but we don't know. So the way I always explain it to people is like this. I say, look, if I were to lend you money right now, what's the first question you should ask me? So if you're on this call, I want you to think about this. If I were to lend you money, what's the first question you should ask me? What's the interest rate? And I say, you know what? Don't worry about the interest rate. Just take the money, go enjoy it, have fun. When you come back, I'll tell you how much interest rate you have to pay. Would you ever sign up on that deal? And the answer to that is obviously no, you wouldn't. So the best place to save money and invest money long-term is places where we already paid our taxes. So that 5 that we put in, we already paid our taxes on that 5. So when this 5 becomes 50, on that 45 that we just paid, we don't pay any taxes. So there's multiple different accounts. There's Roth IRAs. There's also different insurance vehicles that can be used to basically not pay taxes on our gain of our money. So really, to do a recap before I bring Jamie up, it's very simple. You got to start early. You got to make sure you get a good return. And you got to make sure you never lose money. If you've ever lost any money in market, you should make sure to talk to us after this and we show you how to avoid it. I don't care if you lost $1, that could have been avoided 100%. Okay. And then lastly, you got to do it in a tax-free environment. So this is our message. It's very, very simple message, but it's so profound, you guys. The difference between tax deferred and tax advantage might look simple to you, but I'm telling you, tax deferred, tax advantage would be taking a vacation in Europe, and tax deferred is being 75 and working at Walmart. That's the difference. That's the impact that it makes on people's lives. It literally changes people's lives. So these principles save marriages, saves lives, truly save lives. So I want, with that being said, I want to bring my mentor up here, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little about our vision and what we're trying to do. And I told you about my background and how I was, and I'm so grateful for her for teaching me all these principles and how to build a business. I think the greatest gift that this business given me is the gift of confidence, to be able to be to be happy again and be proud of myself and be part of an environment where I love the people I work with. They love me, and it's a great relationship. And I've grown so much, and being able to go around the world and opening up orphanages, all because of her, is just a dream come true. This month we have a campaign right now. If you go on my Instagram, which is my name, Kash, Kash, last name Rashtan, Rastan, you see all the great work that we're doing. We have a campaign that this month our goal is to help 1,000 families. And for every family helped, we're going to sponsor a child in Sierra Leone to go to school. And all of this stuff would have not happened if it wasn't because of Jamie, because of her mentorship to teach me to be able to be financially independent and at 34 years old and all that kind of stuff. None of that stuff would happen if it wasn't because of her. And man, she is an amazing lady. She's an amazing mom. She has amazing family, amazing kids. She's an amazing mentor. She's a multi-millionaire. But there's one thing to be a multi-millionaire. There's different things to help other people become multi-millionaires. She's helped many, many people become multi-millionaires. She has offices all over the United States and Canada. She has multiple charities that she has. One of them we are part of together, All for One. But she has many other empowering ladies, empowering women, just a force of nature, literally the most powerful woman I've ever met in my entire life. Is this lady. I mean, to me, there's Oprah Winfrey, and then there's Jamie Villalovos. And I'm so grateful, and I'm so honored. And you guys don't even know how lucky you are right now to be able to hear from her. So, Jamie, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for changing my life and so many other people's lives, and still going at it and getting on this call. So if you're on the call,
pay no taxes, but also not lose your money and have a guarantee. Who wouldn't be interested in that? But the first time I saw it, it was a little confusing. And I thought, gosh, I'm totally financially illiterate. I need to know this stuff. I need to be able to retire my parents, be able to put my kids through college. And I needed to know this stuff for myself. So I thought, gosh, maybe I could come here and just get a financial education. And I thought I can come in here part-time and learn some of these things. And the more I would come, it was actually really fun. It wasn't this boring financial guy talking about, numbers and rule of 72 and stuff like that. But I'll just give you a little bit of background about myself. I grew up in a very tiny town in Montana. I moved out to California after high school to pay my way through school. I'm the oldest of 6 kids, and I was helping support my family back home. My stepmom was very ill, and they were kind of depending on me. So started working and going to school, and I started working at a place eventually called Valley Total Fitness, a health club. Some of you guys might have remembered that, but it doesn't exist anymore. I think 24 Hour Fitness bought it or something. But I was working as a manager and got promoted very quickly to sales manager and these different things, and had to eventually stop going to school because I was working very long hours, typically 10, 11 hours a day, 6 days a week sometimes. And but my income was good. It was more than all of my friends my age, and I was able to help my family somewhat. And but after about 4.5 years there, I hit an income ceiling. I couldn't make any more money. Some of you guys might relate to that. But not only did I hit an income ceiling, I also felt that I had stopped learning. I had stopped growing. I was basically doing the same thing every day. I'd get up, I'd go to work, I'd do the same thing with the boss that I didn't like and people that I didn't really want to associate with, and go home, go to bed, do the same thing again the next day. And so I started getting a little burnout. I felt like if I could put my heart into something else that I was passionate about, that I was making more of an impact and possibly make more money. And again, I was young. I was 22, and I started to look at other things. I started to look into real estate and mortgage, and realized pretty quickly I didn't want to be in that commission-only environment and really be at someone's beck and call and showing them around. It was a very competitive environment. So I stayed at that gym, and I was making about 70,000. I was 22, didn't finish college, but again, wasn't happy, and just growing more and more dissatisfied. And a lady came into the gym who she had never worked out before. She was super sweet, but very intimidated with the gym. So I was showing her around, and she's like, "Oh, you're very nice. You're good with people. Have you ever thought of doing something else?" And to me, I had felt like I was being discovered or something, but I was excited. I said, "Yeah, I'm looking into mortgage and real estate, but I'm definitely open. What does your husband do?" She said to her, her husband had a business looking for people. So was hungry, and I asked her, what is it that your company or your husband's company does? And she's very sweet, very soft-spoken Korean lady, but she goes, oh, it's securities. It's very lucrative. And when she said that, I didn't know what she was talking about. I had never heard the term securities before in my life. So my mind went to like home alarm sales, maybe. I don't know. So I, I thought, what though? I have no idea what she's talking about, but I'm hungry for change. I wanted something more, better quality of life, more freedom. And I was just sick and tired of a boss having his thumb on me, telling me when I could see my family and controlling my pay. And so I was open, and I came in and I saw an overview, and I saw some of the stuff like what Kash was describing. And again, it was real over my head at the beginning. But again, I realized that I needed to know this stuff. And why doesn't everybody know these things? And why is it only reserved to the wealthy and the rich clients? And my family never had anyone call them. No one never knocked on their door saying, here, let me show you how to save money so that you can eventually have financial independence and retire. So I thought, well, gosh, if they're willing to give me a shot, maybe I'll come in and learn. And I came in part-time, you guys, because I knew nothing. I only was part-time for about a month and a half, replaced my income, and went full-time right away. But I'll tell you what, when someone comes in here, you're going to learn these basic financial things. And, as easy or as complicated as you thought what Kash was saying we have a system. When you come in, we have a very turnkey system. Someone like myself who grew up in Montana, who didn't finish college, who worked at Valley Total Fitness at 22 years old. I was 22. I looked like I was like 13 or something. And but I came in, and because of that system, I finally felt like I wasn't going to fail, that I had a coach, I had someone holding my hand, guiding me, and that I could come in part-time with no risk and build a business. And so I came in, like I said, part-time, and my first 30, 45 days, I was just excited. I was coming to these classes. They were some financial, but some leadership and some personal development, and I just was excited. I was learning and growing for the first time in a long time. And I not only went to classroom training, but I also got to go in the field and watch someone with their client. And I'll tell you what, the first time I went out there, I watched in like 45 minutes, he completely changed a family's life. And I just sat there and took notes. I didn't say a whole lot, but in 45 minutes, it was completely changed the trajectory of this family's life. Took the burden off their shoulders. The debt collectors can stop harassing. The kids can have a hope to go to college, and this family cannot work till they're dead. And I just thought that was amazing. He just, this education that he brought, this awareness that he brought. He never charged them anything. He cared about them. We went to their home even and sat across the kitchen table and gave them this information. But then we were leaving that appointment, and I noticed he made in one night what I was taking home at my job in a month. And I thought, gosh, this is awesome. Still wasn't sure after that first appointment if I could do it. And I went out on the second appointment, the third appointment. By the fifth appointment, only 5 appointments, I told him, I said, John, I could probably do this better than you. I'm ready to go full time. And I did. And I made 6 figures my first year, opened my own office my first year. And then after about 18 months, with what we do, it's also a lot of residual income. And so my bills were paid whether I worked or not. So then I could think more as an entrepreneur and expansion and getting into other states and then getting into Canada. And but again, the entire time I had world-class coaches, 7-figure earners that I didn't have to pay. We have a guy named Ed Milet. He's big on social media now, but he was my coach. He was one of my coaches. I had several other 7-figure earners that are just as good as him that were helping me to get where they are. And that's invaluable, you guys. Guys like Ed just coaching me how to get to where he is. He's one of our, our agency chairmen, if you will, with our company. But I just love that I can bring in someone that can come in and with no risk start a business part-time. And we have people from all walks of life. I have a guy who is a CFO at GE, has a finance degree from Pepperdine, super smart. Today I was working with a guy who is an accountant. Then I'm sitting in Adam and Johanna's office down in Torrance. They're one of the guys I trained, and Johanna was a waitress. So really, because of our system, someone like me, and really anyone, no matter the background, if they come in, if they're coachable and they follow the system, I believe that they can be successful here. And so that's my main reason I think that I was successful. So you come in and you can learn our business. You get licensed in our industries. That's not that difficult either. We help you with that. And I have people that get licensed just in their first couple weeks, and we train you and we give you all of the tools that you need. And because of the things that Kash was talking about, that education, he said we bring like the Amazon of financial services. Because of that education that we bring, you'll notice that most companies out there only work with what we call accredited investors, people that are the affluent and wealthy, people that typically make $250,000 or at least six figures and have $250,000 to invest, liquid assets. It's a very tiny percent of the population. Because of that need, this huge, overwhelming need, we have virtually no competition because every company in our industry is really out there just to serve that wealthy family. Now, don't get me wrong. We're not going to say, get lost rich guy, you make too much money. We'll help everyone. And in fact, we're really the only company out there that will go from A to Z. We'll help. Right now, we are doing, we did like big 401k plans for like Red Bull, Southwest Airlines, but the same month, help a single mom put away $50 a month. You guys, I mean, because of this overwhelming need, because the rest of the industry really overlooks everyone but the affluent and wealthy, we have this, we're growing, we're exploding, we're expanding, we're opening offices right and left, where a lot of companies, and in fact, even our own industry is down. And so because of that, we are in this huge expansion mode. We're looking for good people. The person who invited you on this call probably wants to at least show you what they're doing and get a little bit of an overview to see that it is good people, that we are doing good things for families, that we don't charge for those 6 steps that Kash said, that we'll actually sit down with the family, whether they have $250,000 or $250 million or $250. We'll sit down with them and show them how to get out of debt and what their financial independence number is. How much do they need to save to be able to eventually get somewhere that they want to be? And so we sit down with every single family. And a lot of times, whether they're making $400,000 a year or 40, a lot of them are check to check, unfortunately. And a lot of money is going to personal expenses. A lot of money is going towards their debt. A lot of money is going to taxes. And if we can just cut down a little here and a little there, money that was maybe going down the toilet to the bank or to taxes or to debt, and now that money is now reallocated to putting their kids through college, getting them out of debt, being able to someday quit working, have peace of mind, have hope for the future. I love what we do, but it's so important what we do. And so we'll sit down with the family for free. A lot of companies will charge at least $2,000 for that. And we'll sit down for free with every single family. Whether they become a client with us or not, we give them the GPS, the roadmap to their dreams. Here's exactly what you have to do to get out of debt completely forever. Here's exactly what you have to do to be able to retire at 60 years old with whatever that income that is that you wanted. Or here's exactly what you have to do for your kid to go to that dream college when he's 18. Here's how much you have to save. And then we help them to reallocate. So it's not like, it's always a win-win. We don't charge them, but we also tweak money that they already had and put it to better use. And so we are a very diverse company. We don't have any one product that we sell. All of the best companies in our industry we can offer, so we're not biased to any one company. What that means is if the consumer comes and they say, well, they have no idea what they want, but if I worked for another company, New York Life or Prudential or whatever, that's all they can sell typically. If I worked for Allstate, we're going to say you're in good hands, but really that's all they can offer. Where to the consumer, they have no idea, but also the truth is that there is no one product that's best for everybody. So our entire platform is AAA rated companies, and we represent the customer, and the entire industry, and bring it to them. That's why Kash said we're like the Amazon to financial services. We can bring pretty much everything on Wall Street to your street and help you and your family. But because of this need, we need more people. And so if you know people that are good with people, maybe just want a better quality of life. Again, I love that the company is very entrepreneurial, but you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself, with tons of support. Our parent company is a $700 billion company. It's been around almost 200 years with the best brand and reputation in our entire industry. So it isn't a small mom and pop, but it is a business that you can own and come in. And again, there's a great system. There's a huge need. Someone can come in part-time, but I also have a lot of business owners that are just sick of this crazy cyclical economy, and they want a place that they can plant their flag. A lot of baby boomers right now that want to plant their flag in something they don't necessarily, or they can't maybe retire, but they want some place that they can, that's legit, that they can plant their flag and it be on their own terms. For me, like I said, I've been here 20 years now, a multiple seven-figure income earner. I never dreamed that it would be this good. But I think most of all, I love our core values. I love the leadership of the company. I love what we stand for. I love that we can go out and help the average family like mine. But I love that there's support and that they treat us good. I remember one time when I was new, they said, we want you to have this great rock star lifestyle. We want you to have this great big city income, but you can have a small town lifestyle where you can travel the world. I've been to this with this company to Spain, Portugal, Hawaii 20 times, Cayman Islands, Fiji, Tahiti twice, Greece, Rome, Venice, England. They take us on Hawaii trips every year and a Europe trip every few years, and those are just because they know if you feel good, you do good. And so it's about treating people right. Our core values of when we bring someone aboard, we don't place an ad. We're basically just doing a brief overview today to see who's interested, and then you would sit down with someone maybe and get your questions answered. We would go deeply into our compensation program. It is the highest paid industry to be in. And then within our firm, it is the fastest growing and the best onboarding system. But as far as most of our guys, they'll come in and as a broker, they're making a six-figure at least. If you just come in part-time and you just help a family, just save like $200 a month. Again, you sit down with them, they're check to check, we tweak a little things here and there. Now they're saving $200. That $200 goes such a long way to meeting their dreams. Maybe something, nothing before, but now they have something. But just $200, and you're not even a broker with us. Maybe you're a part-timer, senior associate with us. You get paid about $1,000, and that doesn't seem like a lot. But if someone came in very part-time, like I did in the beginning, and just referred a family and made $1,000, I mean, think about it, you guys. Would $1,000 extra a month be impactful in your family's life, or the people that you know? Would $1,000 make a difference? And absolutely, usually it would. What if you were part-time and you helped one family a week? That's like $4,000. And that's not including any bigger sales, rollovers. This is just an average little $200 a month client. So what we do, we get paid extremely well, but again, it is really important what we do. I love that it is my own business, that I can put my faith and family first. In fact, they encourage that. That it's a positive environment with people trying to help me. Where you don't have a boss. I don't have a boss. No one's Cash is not gonna be like, hey, you're late, But instead, it's more a coach. And I'm grateful that my coaches in this business, they never were a boss, but they did challenge me, and they did encourage me, and they did recognize me, and but they helped me to think bigger, and I'm grateful that my family has the life it has today because of that. I have 4 children. I have a 3-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 13-year-old girl. So I always have my hands full, and I love that my husband can coach the kids, the boys, baseball and in teams, and that I can basically work when I want to work on my own terms and still have this great lifestyle. And I believe here is one of the only places that you really can have it all. So thanks for your time today. I'll turn it back over to Kash, and appreciate you guys.
All right, can you hear me? Jamie, can you see me?
Yep, we got you.
All right, man, that was fast, boss. I gave that whole. So I'll tell you this, okay? So one of the I challenge you guys to do this. I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to do it here for you to see this. So then you're going to really see this opportunity, what I'm talking about here. So let me go to internet. If you Google this, you guys, I'll challenge you to Google this afterwards. Right now, the reason that we're growing is what I'm going to show you. This is going to be big, and I really believe someone's going to make a movie out of it, and of mankind. Boom. There you go. Mankind. Okay. You guys see, okay, here it goes. It says, boomers are the greatest wealth transfer in the history. Are boomers ready to make the greatest wealth transfer in the history? Get ready for one of the greatest wealth transfer in the history. See that one? 30 trillion right there. Get ready for one of the greatest wealth transfer in the history, and goes on and on. Greatest wealth transfer in the history of mankind. So what's happening right now is every 7 seconds, one person turning retirement age. 10,800 people a day today are turning retirement age, and they have all this money in this 401ks. So there's a bunch of money that needs to come from the parents to them, and a lot of money from a 401k that needs to get transferred hands. So who could do that? Someone like us. And every time we move the money from this bucket to this bucket, we make a percentage, not from the client's money, from the companies that we move it to. So let's say it goes from Prudential to Fidelity, they pay us. Okay, so there's a massive amount of money that needs to get transferred hands. To be exact, total, the 401k and the money that's getting transferred is $45 trillion of money that must transfer hands. So you guys get an idea of what is 1 trillion. If you spend 1 million bucks a day for the next 2,700 years, you still have money left over. It's $45 trillion that needs to transfer hands, and there's massive, huge need. If I Google this, and let's see, number of financial advisors, number of financial advisors, Reuters. How do you spell Reuters? See, I can't spell nothing. Here we go. Thanks to Google. That's definitely not like that. Here you go. On Reuters. Here we go. Somebody's spelling it probably for me right now. So check this out. So this is a few years ago. If you guys can see, let me get this. So in 2008, okay, there were 325,000 financial advisors. And in what happened during 2013, they went from 328 to 285,000. And this is a few year old. This is from 2005. So the reason for that is the average age of an advisor today is 60 years old. So they're all retiring themselves. So there's a massive need of people. To give you guys an idea, in California alone, there are 500,000 real estate agents. There's 500,000 real estate agents in California. There are only 220,000 people who do what we do in a here on the chat, so you can click it. So next step is we either sit down one-on-one, where we kind of explain that you answer your questions or anything like that you have. Let me actually bring up the form. Or we invite you to one of our classes, to one of our overviews. We have a class this Saturday from basically 9:30 to 12 o'clock here in Newport Beach, and actually all of our offices locally from Santa Ana to Fullerton. So we have, so either you can come in to those, but we also have a huge event that's coming up this next Thursday at 6:30 with another mentor of mine named Jeff Levitan, who is actually the guy who was one of the people who mentored also Jamie. He's coming from Atlanta, Georgia, very successful. He's actually the founder of All for One, all the charities that we're opening. He just had a new book that he's written. And he teaches this course on living life on purpose and how to have a purpose-driven life. And he's coming in and he's kind of doing a seminar for our guys. It's a free event you can come to. That's going to be in Veston, right in front of South Coast Plaza at 6:30 on Thursday. Not tonight, obviously next Thursday night or Saturday. But we have this card here I want to walk you through. And, I always love, and I want you guys to be able to see who we are. We want to see who you are. And that's why I gave you my Instagram. And you can see and dig in, and probably people can tag you on it too. And Jamie's Instagram. If somebody can post Jamie's Instagram, I just want you to go see her life and how she lives her life. And you can see our stories. And I think I love looking at people's Instagram, especially the ones that are on it and they have their stories. because you can really see how they really live their life every hour of the day. What's their life look like? And to see people like this, like Jamie, they're still fully involved, but they don't really need to. Many years ago, being financially independent, but they're still involved. It's just so inspiring. So here it goes. Yes, and yes, and people who are out of the area, you just fill out that card. I'm gonna show you here this card. Give me 1 second, and I'll bring it up, and I'll kind of give you maybe a little bit of guidance on how to fill it out. Where you are, we will also send you, the associate who invited you here, also send you the address of the office that we're in. We want to know who invited you. We want to know who is the friend that invited you. And there's two parts into this. There's the business part. So if you have a question about the business, how can I make more money? How can I use this system or use this platform? So you can click one of these, or you can check as many of them. It says, I would like to set up an interview. If you want to know more, you just check that one. Also, if you're interested in our classes, we do classes every Saturday, you guys, from 9:30 to 12. One Saturday we do it on trust. One Saturday is on college planning. One Saturday is on taxes. One Saturday we have it on mortgage. You name it, we have class. Any area of money, we have classes. So if you're interested in any of our classes, you can say, I would like to set up an interview, and we get you started in the classes so you can come to these classes. So that's kind of that. If you have any, so we go from there. And then if you're interested in the concept and the product, see, the first part is not for everybody. We're not really looking for everybody, but the second part really is. So we can do a free financial analysis for you. If you already have a 401k, we can kind of go over it, show you how to look at the fees. That is not the mutual fund fee, by the way, that a lot of you guys think of. There's many more. So we show you all that stuff. We show you the history of it and what it's done. And then we kind of go from there. So, and then you can check. So the home part only applies if you're interested only in the concept of products. We can meet with you anytime, any day. However, if you're interested in our business, obviously, we want to meet with you either in the office, or if you're out of state, we can obviously definitely do this over Zoom. And so and obviously we want to meet with you sooner than later, especially for our business, because we're really looking for people who are looking for us. We don't want to convince anybody to come here. There's a lot of people that coming in. If you come to our office, ginormous office, so we have about 250 people pretty much every other day that come into it and taking a look at what we're doing, because we're expanding that fast.